That looks like it's going to be an exciting competition this year. Next up, Grizz goes to have a chat with Jason Galea about off-road racing.
Cheers for that, Amy. Well, I'm here with Jason from Flat Out Off-Road Racing, and he's going to tell us a bit about his car and some WA Off-Road Racing Championship. Welcome along, Jason.
Thanks to be here.
Right, your car, it's a Nissan, I take it?
Yeah, GQ Nissan Patrol 92. It's basically stock standard because that's the production four-wheel drive class.
Yep. And what type of racing is it? I mean, like, everyone talks about off-road racing. You see the images of the little buggies and, you know, the ones which look like little spiders and stuff, but this obviously isn't one of them.
Yeah. Well, we race with those, but this is a speed event, so you got to try and keep your speed up, and then you've got the little rough stuff as well. Yep. It's a lot different to conventional four-wheel driving with winch comps and rock walls and all that sort of thing. You don't usually get that. It's pretty much fast
just
racing.
Flat out racing, as the name says.
Yeah.
So, okay, you got a Nissan here. What have you done to it? You said it's pretty stock standard, but you've got to have done something to race.
Yeah. Well, the first thing you got to do is you got to put a roll cage into the car. Right. So we got an FJG Engineering roll cage kit and put that in the car. We've braced the suspension, the diff, and that's basically all you need to do. We've got raw shocks on board. We go and source our tyres from Ian Diff and Tyre Factory Joondalup, yep. And that's really all we've done to it. There's not too much more. To get a little bit more power, we put a 350 polycarby on it, and that's about it really. Okay,
and how long have you been racing for?
I'm into my third season now. I raced a full season last year, and then the year before that I only raced the one race.
Okay.
We've been, as a team, we've been racing for a fair bit longer than that, with Dad's been racing his 80 series for a couple of years now.
Right, now how have you placed?
Basically every event that I've finished, I've placed in the top 3 in my class. Last season I won the Production 4 Drive State Championship, and that was a very good result for us. This year we're sitting, I think, about 2nd or 3rd on points coming into Bencoven, so shaping up as a good year.
Good. Okay, you mind if we have a bit of a look around your car and you can point some things out for us? What needs to happen to a car to go off-road racing?
Yep, no worries.
Okay, so I take it first up. We'll look at your bonnet. You got your bonnet locks.
Yeah, we got bonnet pins on these cars. Well, actually, we didn't earlier in the season, and the bonnet popped open at about 80 k's an hour, and that's why we've got a couple of dents on the bonnet.
All right, which wouldn't be good.
Yep, that's no good. So now we're running the bonnet pins, which most other four drives and tin tops are running.
Yeah. So you take off a lot of the cosmetics from the outside, like you don't have your big mirrors on it and stuff like that. You've all made everything sort of aerodynamic.
Yeah. These mirrors that we've got mainly are because you run so close to trees. If you knock them off quite a lot, and when we're running laps, you don't want one of those big buggies coming up behind you and you don't see them, because they'll come and pass you like in a flash and you don't even know they're there.
Right. And what about your seats? You got racing seats in there?
Yeah, we've got SAS racing seats, and obviously you also need your harness. We've got a 5-point harness. There's a couple of different harnesses that you can run. You also need to run either wrist restraints or window nets. We run wrist restraints in this car. A lot of other people run window nets, but I mean, it's a preference thing.
What are wrist restraints? What do they do?
I've got some wrist restraints in the car.
Yep.
Basically, the wrist restraint here clips onto your harness. You put it onto there, and then it restricts your arm from moving out the window in the event of a rollover. And that's the same sort of thing that if you had a window net, you wouldn't be able to get your hands out of the window. So that's the main idea of a wrist restraint.
And how does that affect your driving?
Well, you actually need to set these up specifically. Like the Navigator has their set, and I have my one. And it's I put mine at a certain length, so my hand can't get out the window, but I still have full range over the wheel. You only need to wear the outside one, because that's the one that's only going to go out the window.
Right, okay, well let's have a look at the back. Right, you've got a pretty basic back here.
Yep.
You've got your spare tyre in there, it's strapped in, and it's also, I take it, it's got a little...
Yeah, we've just got a locating device and a strap to hold our spare tyres down. A lot of people use different systems to do that. This is just a really easy way. If you have a flat, ratchet off, take the tyre off, and then away you go.
Yep.
Another thing they might notice is we have a amber light and a brake light on the back of the car.
All right.
That's to see in the dust. The dust light is the amber light. That's on all the time.
Yep.
And the brake light as well, because when in a dusty situation, you probably see that better than the rest of the
Yep.
lights.
And your battery's in the back, it's not under the bonnet?
Yep. We've moved the battery to the back of the car just as get it out of the way of the engine bay. It's a little bit better for your weight as well if you have more weight towards the rear, especially with a ute.
Right. Well, there we go. Well, this is now. Tell us about the off-road racing championships. How many races do they have a year?
I think there's about 5 rounds for the state championship. The first one this year was at Yellowring. Then we raced Hyden. Next race coming up in a week's time is Ben Coven. Then you have Moongumba and Hyden again, and that's your state championship. There's also a couple of other rounds, like we raced Warrimal as well, just after Hyden. That's a non-state round that the Gascoyne Off-Road Club put on, and that was up near Carnarvon. There's also the Gascoyne Dash, which is a really popular event, especially with the 4-wheel drives.
Are you going into that one?
Well, we will be racing that one definitely with the 80 series, depending on how we go with this car. I don't know. We'll see how we go.
See how we go.
Yep.
So you got, what was it? It was 5 races all up?
5 state championship
5 state
rounds.
champion. Now, can you get people from over east coming into one of these races?
At Hyden at Easter, we have a lot of eastern state competitors come over. We have the Chapmans came over from Queensland and race. They have a Triton and a Pajero, and they race in both extreme and production 4-wheel drive.
Right.
Obviously, Colin Hunter, he's got a Jeep. He comes over and races, as well as I think sort of about 30 or 40 other competitors from the eastern states come to Hyden.
No, okay. So Hyden's a big one.
Yeah, Hyden at Easter is the national round, the first national round. The doubles is a state championship round, and yeah, that's quite popular, that one.
There we go. That's off-road racing. Well, thank you very much for that, Jason.
Thank you.
Very much appreciated. And we'll be back shortly.